Hey, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This week I have 5 super easy and delicious slow cooker meals that are also freezer friendly. So let's get cooking. This first recipe is slow cooker chicken chili, and I actually originally made it using leftover turkey from Thanksgiving last year, so it's absolutely delicious if you want to use any already cooked meats instead of the raw chicken. So first, in a bag, I added my raw chicken breasts, about 1.5 pounds, 1 bell pepper diced, a yellow onion diced, 2 cups of fresh tomatoes chopped, or you can use 1 can of diced tomatoes, then 1 can of chili beans, not drained. You can use any kind of beans that you like, or you could even make them from scratch. You don't have to use canned beans. Then half a cup of salsa, a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of salt, which is optional. Then I just sealed it and froze it. When it was time to cook, I thawed it out overnight and then added the entire contents of the bag to the slow cooker and then set it to cook on low for about 4 to 5 hours, or until that chicken was cooked through to 165 degrees. Once the chicken was cooked through, I simply shredded the chicken with a couple of forks, but if you like, you can also remove it and either chop it or shred it on a separate plate or cutting board. I've heard of people using a hand mixer to shred their chicken. Just be careful if you are using a slow cooker like this that's glazed, simply because you wouldn't want to chip it. Then I just covered that till we were ready to eat, and then when I was ready, we served it with some Greek yogurt, avocado, shredded cheese, diced onions, jalapenos, and hot sauce. It was absolutely delicious. This next recipe has a little bit more work up front, but it's totally worth it. This is a slow cooker turkey meatballs and homemade tomato sauce recipe. So in a bowl, I'm going to combine my 1 pound of ground turkey with a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, a 1/4 cup of fresh grated Parmesan, but you can use the already grated kind if you like, a tablespoon of parsley, 1 egg, 2 cloves of garlic minced, and a little bit of salt. I'm doing a double recipe here because I want to make 2 batches to freeze, so that way I have these all done and I don't have to do this again pretty soon. So it's up to you if you want to just do the 1 batch or the 2 batches. Once that's all combined, I'm just going to roll my meatballs by hand and place those on a parchment lined baking sheet. And I'm placing that baking sheet in the freezer like this. This will keep the meatballs from sticking together, but I have skipped this step before and just put them directly in the bag, so you could do that if you want. The meatballs just won't be as well defined. After about 2 hours, I take them out of the freezer and start assembling my bag. I'm just going to be using a plastic pitcher to hold my large gallon-sized bag open for this one, but if you have those fancy bag holders, you can use those too. Just add your frozen meatballs, about a tablespoon of oil, 4 cloves of garlic, 4 cups of chopped fresh tomatoes, or 1 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, and salt and pepper to taste, however you like it. Plus, when we're going to cook it, we're going to add our seasonings as well. So just add whatever kind of seasonings you like to the bag, freeze it, and then when it's time to cook, you're going to thaw that overnight and simply dump the entire contents into the slow cooker and cook on low for 4 to 5 hours. Now, again, I'm adding some Italian seasoning this time and just a little drizzle of olive oil, but that's optional. You can add any seasonings that you like here, parsley, basil, any kind of herbs that you love. So definitely just season this to taste. Once the meatballs are cooked through, I'm going to give this a stir and let that sauce thicken a little bit. I'm also going to smash those garlic pieces and a couple of the tomatoes too. This is just going to create a little bit more of a thick sauce, so it's up to you if you'd like to do that or not. Now with my Italian loaf, I just sliced it in half and rubbed some garlic on it, added some cheese. This is mozzarella. Then I chopped the meatballs and added those to the top of that and added some more mozzarella cheese and a little bit of Parmesan and any kind of seasonings that you like here too. That's up to you. You can really make this one your own, and everybody could really assemble their own pizzas if that's what you want to do, or you could call this an open-faced sandwich, however you like to call it. Once it comes out of the oven, it really is absolutely beautiful and tastes delicious. You could even make this as a pasta dish instead, cook up some spaghetti or your favorite pasta and just mix it in with the sauce. The sky's the limit with this one. This next recipe is a slow cooker honey garlic chicken. So in my bag, I'm going to assemble 1.5 pounds of chicken breasts or thighs, then add about a 1/4 cup of low sodium soy sauce, a 1/4 cup of ketchup, a 1/4 cup of honey, half of a diced onion, 3 cloves of minced garlic, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 2 tablespoons of oil. You can use any oil that you like. I like either olive oil or avocado oil. And then I'm just going to seal that on up and freeze it. Once you're ready to cook this meal, just thaw it overnight in the refrigerator and then pour it directly into your slow cooker. And again, cook on low about 4 to 5 hours. I usually recommend 4 or 5 hours for chicken breasts or thighs because that's plenty of time usually. Depends if it's bone in or not. So just keep that in mind with the timing. Sometimes it'll take a little bit longer. So just be sure to use a thermometer and make sure you're checking if that is 165 degrees internally before you remove it. Once that's all cooked through, I'm just going to shred the chicken and mix it in this case. case. But if you want a nice thick sauce, you can add a little bit of cornstarch directly to the sauce and then cover it and cook it for another few minutes, up to 30 minutes, depending on how thick you'd like the sauce. The longer that you cook it, the more thick it will become. For me, I just wanted to skip the cornstarch this time and serve it as is because I was short on time. So that's an option. I served it with rice and broccoli. It was delicious. This next one is crazy easy. It's a chicken tikka masala, and I am actually going to be using chicken tenders for this, but you can use chicken breasts or thighs, and a bottle of this tikka masala sauce. This is a lower sodium sauce too, which I love. I try to avoid the sodium as much as possible, so you can season this up as you like, but we're just going to pour that in there. I'm going to put a little bit of water in the jar to get the rest of that sauce out and pour it on there, and then I'm just going to slow cook this on low for 4 to 5 hours. Then I'll just easily shred the chicken, mix it on up, and I'm going to serve it with some rice and broccoli, and if you have any naan on hand, that would be amazing too. But they also have butter chicken sauce and all kinds of yummy sauces like that. I personally saw these sauces available at Aldi and Walmart. This next one may seem a little bit odd, but I promise it's delicious. It's a buffalo chicken stuffed sweet potato. And if you want to freeze this in advance, you can just put the chicken and the sauce in a bag, and then when you're ready, you can thaw it overnight and proceed with everything else. So first, I'm just going to brush my sweet potatoes with a little bit of butter, or you can use coconut oil or any kind of fat or oil that you have on hand. And then I'll mix together the sauce. I'm using about 3/4 of a cup of Frank's Red Hot sauce, plus about a tablespoon of melted butter. Mix that together, and then I'm going to add my chicken breasts or thighs to my slow cooker. I'm using the Instant Pot on slow cooker mode this time. Then I'll add about a 1/4 cup of that sauce on top of the chicken. Then I'll top the chicken with those buttered sweet potatoes, making sure that the sweet potatoes touch the edges of the slow cooker. And I'm going to cover that and cook it on low for about 5 to 6 hours this time, just because we want to make sure those sweet potatoes are nice and cooked through. And in the meantime, I'm mixing together a blue cheese sauce with just some Greek yogurt, milk, vinegar. I used apple cider vinegar. You can use white vinegar, anything you have, a little bit of pepper, and some blue cheese. If you don't like blue cheese, you can use lime juice instead, and that makes a really yummy topping too for this. Once that chicken is all cooked through, I'm just going to shred it and add a little bit more of that sauce, about a 1/4 cup or so of the Frank's sauce with the melted butter. And I stored this in the refrigerator until it was time because it does have the unsalted butter in it, so just be careful with that. Don't leave it out. After the chicken was shredded and mixed together with the sauce, I put the lid back on just to make sure everything was heated through, and I sliced the sweet potatoes, added my chicken, a little bit more of that hot sauce on top, and that blue cheese yogurt sauce, and it was absolutely delicious. You've got to try this one, and if you do, please let me know down in the comments. I want to hear it. I really hope you enjoyed those recipes. If you try anything, be sure to let me know down in the comments, and you can check out some of my other videos for more meal inspiration. If you like this video, please be sure to give me a little thumbs up. It really helps my channel, and subscribe to see more. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.